Let me ask you something. When was the last time you chose yourself without apology? Not your family, not your relationship, not your boss, just you. Because every single day, the world is busy telling women what they should be. Be softer, smile more, shrink to fit, apologize, be less. But today, I'm here to tell you the opposite. Today, I'm here to give you permission to be loud, unapologetic, and strong as hell. Because strength is not about lifting weights or putting on armor. It's about standing in your truth when everything in the world tells you to sit down and be quiet. Let's get one thing straight. Strong women don't ask for respect, they command it. They don't chase love, they choose it when it's worthy. And most importantly, strong women don't need to fit into anyone's narrative. They write their own damn story. So today, I'm going to hand you the 7 rules that changed my life and the lives of thousands of powerful women I've met. These rules are not about perfection. They're about power. And when you truly understand them, you don't just become strong. You become unbreakable. Are you ready to meet her? The version of you that doesn't flinch, doesn't fold, and doesn't beg to be seen? Good. Let's begin. Let me tell you something that most people won't. The world is not going to choose you. Your lover might not. Your job, it'll replace you in a week. Your family, even they might expect you to be the sacrifice for everyone else's happiness. So you better choose yourself first, always, and without apology. This is not selfish. This is survival. Because every time you put someone else ahead of your own mental health, every time you stay quiet just to avoid conflict, every time you smile when your soul is screaming, you're slowly teaching the world that your needs come last. Let me break it down for you. You cancel your doctor's appointment to help someone move. You skip your workout because your partner says, "Can't you just stay in with me?" You say yes to a plan you hate to keep the peace. You agree to stay in a job that drains you just because your family says it's safe. And you think you're being a good person. But what you're really doing is abandoning yourself. There's a lie that strong women are supposed to carry everyone, fix everything, and smile through it all. But strength isn't about suffering in silence. It's about saying, this doesn't serve me anymore. And I don't need to feel guilty for walking away. One woman told me she gave up her dream of being a photographer because her boyfriend said, "You'll never make money with that." She listened. 5 years later, she was depressed, broke, and living a life she didn't recognize. Until one day, she stood up, quit her job, left him, and bought a camera again. Now, she shoots for Vogue. Because she finally said, "Enough. I'm choosing me." Listen to me. You don't owe anyone your peace just because they love you. This is what Autobatri has been to me. You don't owe anyone your peace just because they love you. You don't owe anyone your peace just because they love you. Your love should not be a transaction that empties you. Your time is not a currency to be spent to prove your worth. And your dreams, they are not side hobbies to be parked behind someone else's goals. If it costs your self-respect, your sleep, your joy, it's too damn expensive. Have you ever looked in the mirror and didn't recognize the person staring back? That happens when you spend so long being what others want, you forget who you were before the world told you who to be. But you want to know the truth? That power is still inside you. The version of you who once laughed freely, who danced in the rain, who didn't ask for permission to dream. She's still there. She's just buried under years of maybe next time. It's okay, and I'll do it later. You deserve to be the main character of your own story, not the extra in someone else's script. So the next time you're torn between disappointing yourself and disappointing others, disappoint them. Let them feel uncomfortable. Let them talk. Let them walk. Because anyone who truly loves you will celebrate your boundaries, not punish you for setting them. Your strength is not measured by how much you carry. It's measured by how bravely you let go of what was never yours to hold. Stop waiting for someone to choose you. Your destiny is not on layaway. You were never meant to be background noise. You are the entire damn song. And the first verse starts the moment you say, I choose me. They will keep taking from you until there's nothing left. Your kindness, they'll see it as weakness. Your silence, as approval. Your flexibility, as a free pass to walk all over you. But there comes a day when you stand up and say, no more. That's the day you stop being just a woman and start becoming a queen. Because queens don't explain their worth. They set boundaries and let the world rise or fall around them. Let's get one thing clear. A boundary is not a wall to keep people out. It's a sacred line that says, this is where I end, and this is where you don't get to enter without respect. Too many women are bleeding from wounds caused by people they allowed too close for too long. Mothers running on fumes because they've been taught to give but never receive. Girlfriends allowing emotional manipulation because he's just going through a tough time. Employees burning out because they say yes to everything. Terrified of being seen as not a team player. You know what's more powerful than saying yes? Saying no. Without explanation. Without guilt. Without the 3-paragraph apology text. A friend once told me her co-worker constantly dumped extra work on her, always with a smile. And you don't mind, right? She stayed late, skipped lunch, sacrificed weekends. Until one day, she looked in the mirror and saw someone she didn't even recognize. Exhausted, anxious, invisible. So she did the unthinkable. She said, actually, I do mind. That one sentence changed her entire life. She got promoted because the company finally saw her as someone who values herself. You teach people how to treat you by what you tolerate. You can love someone deeply and still say, that doesn't work for me. You can be supportive and still say, I need space. You can be kind and still say, I will not be disrespected. People who love you will adjust. People who benefit from your lack of boundaries will resist. Pet them. Because a queen's crown isn't just gold and diamonds. It's made of unapologetic self-respect. You know what the most dangerous kind of woman is? The one who no longer fears being misunderstood. The one who stops explaining herself. The one who chooses peace over pleasing. That woman is untouchable. There was a girl I knew who always went to parties she hated just to keep her friend circle. She'd laugh at jokes that made her uncomfortable. She'd smile through things that felt wrong. Until one day she realized, if I have to become someone else to be accepted, then I'm not loved. I'm just used. She walked away. Now, her peace is so loud, she doesn't need to speak. Boundaries are not rude. They are your birthright. You are not here to be liked by everyone. You are here to be respected by the right ones. If someone gets angry when you draw the line, it means they were benefiting from your lack of one. So raise your voice. Raise your standards. Raise the bar so high that only those with real intentions can reach you. Your life is not a charity project. Your energy is not up for auction. And your time is not free real estate for other people's chaos. Say no. Say not today. Say, that's not acceptable. And when you do, you'll notice something beautiful. The right people will stay, the wrong ones will leave. And you'll finally have room to breathe. Sometimes the strongest step you'll ever take is the one you take alone. And yes, it will terrify you. Yes, you will question it. You will cry in silence. You will second guess everything. But let me tell you something nobody told you when you were younger. Walking alone is not weakness. It's power in its purest form. They told you that success is having a crowd behind you. They told you that happiness is being surrounded by people, but they forgot to tell you. Sometimes the crowd is full of noise, not love. Sometimes the company is just camouflage for your loneliness. And the truth is, you will never become who you were born to be until you're willing to walk away from what's familiar. There's a woman I know. She was in a relationship for 6 years. Everyone said, "You're perfect together." But deep down, she felt small, diminished. Every time she tried to shine, he dimmed her light. Every time she had an opinion, he rolled his eyes. But she stayed, because being alone sounded scarier than being unseen. Until one day, she stood in front of her mirror and asked, "Do I even recognize the woman I've become?" And her silence was the loudest answer. She packed her things. She left. She had no plan, no backup, no applause. Only one thing. The fire inside her that whispered, "You deserve more." It was hard. She ate dinner alone. She cried in bed some nights. But day by day, her voice came back. Her glow returned. And today, she doesn't walk alone out of loneliness. She walks alone because she finally realized her own damn worth. Let's get real. There will be moments when no one claps for you. No one texts back. No one supports your dream. You'll post your work and get no likes. You'll launch your idea and hear nothing but crickets. And in that silence, you'll ask, is it even worth it? Yes, it is. Because greatness is not built in noise. It's built in lonely mornings, in silent sacrifices, in moments when no one's watching. You don't need a tribe to validate your journey. You don't need a cheer squad to believe in your purpose. You don't need a man to make you feel whole. Walk into that cafe alone. Book that solo trip. Go to that gym without waiting for a friend. Say yes to that dream, even if nobody understands it yet. You are not alone because you're unworthy. You are alone because you're outgrowing the things not meant for your next level. Think of a rocket ship. It sheds parts as it rises higher. People will fall away when your frequency rises. Let them. You don't have to hate them. You just have to love yourself more than you fear the silence. You were not born to chase. You were born to attract, to build, to radiate so fiercely that what's meant for you has no choice but to find you. But somewhere along the way, they made you believe that if you wanted something badly enough, You had to beg for it. You had to run after people who walked away. You had to lower your worth just to keep someone else comfortable. No more. There is a certain kind of power that lives in a woman who refuses to chase what already left. She doesn't plead for attention. She doesn't text twice when there's no reply. She doesn't sit by the phone hoping he changes his mind. She knows if he wanted to, he would. And if he doesn't, she doesn't chase, she replaces. A woman once told me she spent 2 years chasing a man who breadcrumbed her with fake promises. She changed her hair, her body, her silence, all for a man who couldn't even give her consistency. She thought if I try harder, he'll see my worth. But he didn't. Because the moment you start proving your value to someone who can't see it, you've already given your crown away. One day, she didn't cry, she didn't scream, she just got up, blocked his number, and never looked back. She said, if I can love the wrong person this deeply, imagine how much I can give to the right one. And that was her rebirth. We chase what we think we can't replace. But that's a lie scarcity tells you. Because the truth is, everything you lose gets replaced with something better if you just have the courage to let go. That job that rejected you, you thought it was your only shot. But months later, something bigger came. That friend who ghosted you after all you gave, they made space for a soul connection who showed you what loyalty feels like. That man who chose someone else, he freed you from being half-loved by someone who didn't deserve you in full. You don't need to chase closure. You don't need to chase apologies. You don't need to chase people who act like they're confused about you. Let them go. Let them walk. Let them downgrade. While you upgrade. While you glow up. While you evolve in silence and shock them with your absence. There is nothing more dangerous than a woman who realizes her energy is currency. She doesn't waste it begging. She doesn't explain herself to temporary people. She doesn't try to convince anyone to stay. She replaces. She replaces rejection with redirection. She replaces heartbreak with healing. She replaces confusion with clarity. She replaces fake love with deep, soul-aligned love that doesn't require performance. You want to leave? Go. I don't need someone who's half in. I don't need mixed signals and empty promises. I am not an option. I am not a backup plan. I am not someone you keep just in case. I am the table. I bring peace, power, passion, and presence. And I will never again beg anyone to notice what's rare. A woman who knows her worth doesn't chase anything that tries to run. Because she understands what is for her flows toward her effortlessly. What is not for her exposes itself in inconsistency, confusion, and lack. And the moment she sees it, she doesn't fight. She doesn't argue. She doesn't break down. She simply says, "Thank you for showing me who you are. Now watch me show you who I am." There's a moment in every woman's life where she realizes no one is coming to save her. Not the man she thought would protect her. Not the job she thought was secure. Not even the friend she counted on during every breakdown. And in that silence, in that terrifying stillness where the world suddenly grows quiet, she hears a voice deep inside whispering, "Stand up. Be your own backup plan." Because the truth is, life will test you in ways you never saw coming. The people you supported, some will disappear when it's your turn to need. The hands you held when they were drowning, they won't always remember when you're sinking. So what will you do? Wait for help? Or will you rise from the chaos and become your own rescue? I remember a young woman, brilliant, kind, filled with dreams. But she built her entire future around a man. He promised her everything. You don't need to work. I'll take care of you. And for a while, it felt like a fairy until the day he left. No warning, no explanation, just silence. She had nothing in her name. No income, no home of her own. Just broken promises and a shattered illusion. But she didn't stay broken. She picked up the pieces, started learning digital marketing from YouTube videos, freelanced day and night, slept on a friend's couch, and a year later, she launched her own agency. She said to me, I made a mistake, depending on someone else for a life I was supposed to build for myself. Never again. That's what it means to be your own backup plan. You don't need a safety net when you become the net. You don't need to fear loss when you've trained yourself to rebuild from scratch. Because power isn't in never falling. It's in falling 7 times and saying, watch me get up for the 8th. A girl once told me she stayed in a toxic job because her family said it was safe. Every morning she cried before going to work, her soul dying a little more each day. Until one day she said, I'm building a side hustle, I'm learning design, I'm building skills, so I never have to beg for peace again. She stopped scrolling mindlessly, started learning intentionally. 6 months later, she handed in her resignation with a smile. Because she didn't need the company anymore, she became the company. That's what happens when you stop waiting for someone to hand you your future and you start crafting it with your own damn hands. Do you know what real independence feels like? It's waking up knowing you don't need to beg anyone for money. It's looking at a man and saying, I love you, it's building a life so whole that anyone who enters it is just a beautiful addition, not a necessity. Be the woman who has her own back when the world turns away. Be the woman who can start over without fear because she never let comfort dull her edge. Be the woman who doesn't cry over a closed door because she built 5 more exits while no one was watching. Your support system might collapse, but if you are your own backup plan, if you are your own source of fire, then nothing can keep you down for long. They told you to be soft. They told you to be quiet. They told you to be small. But what if I told you the world has never feared a loud woman? They feared a powerful one. And that woman is you. You are not here just to survive. You are not here to beg for a seat at a table built on crumbs. You are here to build your own empire. Set your own rules. You don't need to shrink for anyone's comfort. You don't need to apologize for being bold, brilliant, or too much. Too much for who? If your fire burns their skin, maybe they were never meant to stand that close. A strong woman doesn't just rise once. She rises again and again. Through heartbreak, through failure, through judgment, through storms that would have destroyed anyone else. She is the kind of storm they can't forecast, the kind of chapter they regret losing, the kind of energy that says, I don't need to prove anything, I am the proof. Let them talk. Let them whisper. Let them call you intimidating, emotional, difficult. Those are just the words they use when they can't manipulate your power. Because a woman who knows who she is cannot be controlled. And a woman who builds herself cannot be broken. You don't owe anyone silence. You don't owe anyone permission to shine. And you certainly don't owe anyone your pain just to make them comfortable. You are not responsible for their insecurities. You are responsible for your rise, your healing, your glow up. Let's get one thing clear. You weren't born to be liked. You were born to be legendary. And legends, they are remembered not because they followed rules, but because they rewrote them. You will not always be understood. You will not always be accepted. But you will always be respected when you learn to respect yourself first. And sometimes that respect means saying no. Sometimes it means walking away. Sometimes it means rebuilding alone. And sometimes it means looking in the mirror and saying, this time I choose me. Do you know how powerful that is? To choose yourself in a world that constantly tells you not to? To love yourself enough to let go of what hurts? To stop chasing love that drains you and start becoming the kind of love that saves you. That is real strength. That is the kind of woman who becomes unstoppable. They thought breaking you would silence you. They thought betrayal would destroy you. They thought walking away would leave you desperate. But here you are, wiser, louder. Because the truth is, diamonds don't beg to shine. Queens don't beg to be chosen. And you are both. So don't just survive. Rise. Don't just chase. Lead. Don't just wait. Build. Don't just dream. Execute. Because a woman with vision is a revolution. And a revolution doesn't whisper, it roars. As one of the greatest lines ever said, she remembered who she was, and the game changed. Now it's your turn. Remember who you are, and change everything.